In internet culture, the iceberg refers to a visual metaphor used to represent the hidden depths and complexities of the internet, particularly its subcultures and hidden content. It often depicts a stylized iceberg image with the more visible and commonly known aspects of the internet at the top and progressively more obscure, niche, and even darker aspects below the surface. Or at least that's what the stupid AI overview tool that Google uses says. I swear, how do you get rid of that? I just want to learn by myself, all right? Either way, not to get sidetracked too much, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be taking a look at one of those icebergs, particularly for the video game Europa Universalis 4, a game where you can take control of any country in the world in the year 1444 and all the way to 1821. Expand, go to war, colonize, focus on trade, work on the economy, build buildings, and more. Without further ado, let's jump in to the EU4 iceberg. Alright, so here we are on the EU4 iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate one, if I do say so myself. I originally saw this posted over on Reddit, but it got removed because Redditors love so much fun. But luckily, the guy that made the iceberg posted it in my Discord as well, and like I just explained from the AI overview dumbass tool at the beginning of the video, we got the stuff right here at the top that everyone should know if you play or even if you've heard of Europa Universalis 4. And down here all the way at the bottom, we have things so niche, so obscure that you have to have 40,000 hours in EU4 in order to know. Obviously, we're going to be taking it from the top right here. And another thing before we start, I do want to say that even though I have taken a peek at this iceberg, and taken a look at some things, there are some things in here that possibly even me, the best EU4 player of all time, doesn't know. Now, instead of researching some things that I wouldn't know and explaining them to you guys, I thought, well, let me see how much I don't know as well. So if there's something I don't know, maybe you do, and you can explain it for me and the other viewers in the comments below. No cheating though, you can't look it up. You have to know it to type it out. Alright, so let's kick off the top layer right here that everyone should know about. It's even above the iceberg, that's how known these things are. First up, we have mingsplosion. That, of course, refers to the fact that Ming, the dynasty that controls China at the start of the game, is so unstable due to the way the mandate of heaven mechanic works right here. When they get low mandate, their armies suck, they're very easy to beat, and additionally, they have some pretty horrible disasters right here that happen to them quite frequently. And when the mingsplosion happens, well, all of these guys that you see me releasing right here, or well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them do pop out from Ming, basically a sort of an explosion of Ming. A mingsplosion, if you will. So that's what mingsplosion refers to. Then up next, we have mana, a pretty simple thing to explain, ladies and gentlemen. It just refers to the fact that we have these points right here. I like to call them monarch points that you randomly generate, well, not randomly, but that you generate from various things in the game, mainly your ruler, depending on how good he is. And we're in Ming right here, so the ruler absolutely sucks. But you can get them from advisors as well, from power projection, from certain things that you unlock later down the line, government reforms and stuff like that. Quite a, controversial mechanic. Some people hate it, some people like it, some people love it. Me personally, I love it, and I'm actually a little bit sad that we won't have mana or monarch points in EU5. Next up over here, we have the Iberian Wedding. Of course, a lot of you will know about the Iberian Wedding. That pretty much happens when, if we tag into Castile right here, when Castile has a male ruler and Aragon has a female ruler, or vice versa. Basically, if the rulers of Castile and Aragon can get married, the Iberian Wedding happens, and Castile gets Aragon as a junior partner. Obviously, as a player, you always do this. The AI sometimes rejects it. It is possible to reject it, but that's what the Iberian Wedding is. Pretty much a way to get, to get Aragon for free as Castile. Moving on, we have HRE, Aggressive Expansion. Everyone knows this. The fact that aggressive expansion in the HRE, the Holy Roman Empire, which is this right here, is particularly high to represent the fact that a lot of these guys didn't really go to war for conquest back in the day, so it's really expensive and costly to take provinces. Let's say as Castile, you fight Portugal and you take 5 provinces from them, no one's gonna care. If as Brandenburg, you fight, I don't know, Saxony and full annex them and take a province from Thuringia, well, the entire HRE is gonna get into a coalition. somewhat border gory, but we can understand it because it's Venice, right? That's the way they expand. Let me try and find someone else at the start that is looking pretty border gory. I don't know any other nation, for example. But yeah, you know, France is actually a pretty good example of what border gore is. It's just conquering without regards to whatever looks good, you know, just snaking, gunning for centers of trade, gunning for certain trade goods, certain strategic provinces. And while border gore, you know, may be optimal for certain playstyles, it definitely looks the worst. Then, of course, we have Comet-Sided, probably one of the most hated events in Europa Universalis 4, and it just refers to the fact that, you know, when that certain event pops, and I'll actually show it to you right now. This is it right here. You basically can choose various options right here that all of them make you lose 1 stability. However, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret that's not on our iceberg. If your ruler has the Scholar trait, these are ruler traits, you can actually not lose stab and instead gain some admin points. After that, we have Giant Ottomans, which I guess it's kind of, you know, open-ended Giant Ottomans right here, but what I can only assume it refers to is the fact that the Ottomans, they expand so rapidly, and it's so easy for them to expand, even as the AI, not even as the player, that, well, in pretty much every single game, you have Giant Ottomans that control pretty much all of this and maybe even more. Yeah, they are pretty powerful. I think that's what it refers to. I don't know. Next, we have another one of the most hated events in Europa Universalis 4, Hunting Accident. Everybody hates it, and for some reason, it always happens when you have a 6/6/6 heir. It's pretty simple to explain. You got a really good heir as some nation. You're excited to get him into power after his, elder dies. Boom. Hunting accident. He goes hunting, he dies, boar impaled him, gunshot to the chest, spear through the head, he dies. And sorrow overtakes you, or oh well. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. And it always happens when you got a 6/6/6 for some reason. I don't know why. After that, we have Ulm. Now, Ulm is a fairly old meme in the EU4 community, and it refers to the fact that Ulm right here, tiny little Ulm in the HRE, is the most powerful nation in the game. It's not. It's just generic, and from how generic and how average it is, the meme is pretty much that Ulm is overpowered. Never found it funny, never liked it. Some people talk about it to this day. Listen, there's been lots of other EU4 memes. Let's all just forget about Ulm. Let's just forget about it now. And after that, we have the 3 mountains right here, which is the final thing in our, topmost part of the iceberg right here. It simply refers to the fact that there is an achievement in Europa Universalis 4 called the 3 mountains, which requires you to conquer the world, which is already difficult enough, as the 1 province island nation of Ryukyu. One of the most difficult achievements in the game. Everyone knows it. Is it the hardest one? It used to be. There are a couple of harder ones now, I am gonna say, but yeah, that's just what the 3 mountains refers to. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up our first tier of the EU4 iceberg. Did you know all of them? Did you not? Let's move into the second tier, the tip of the iceberg. All right, the first one in the second tier right here, Enrique, of course, refers to the fact that, well, let me just show you. You're playing as Castile, right? You start up a game as Castile, and you notice, oh my god, we have a horrible king. On the second right here, he's a 1/1/2. Can't wait to get rid of him, right? Get Enrique, the heir, in power. The heir is a 2/0/1. Now, he used to be worse. He used to be even worse than this, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what it refers to. It refers to how horrible Enrique is, and even worse was. What was he before they bumped him up to a 2/0/1? He was like a 0/0/0 or a 1/1/1. What was he? He was like absolutely horrible, dude. Then after that, we have Anbenar. Anbenar, of course, refers to one of the most popular mods, a total conversion mod for EU4. Everyone obviously is always begging me to play it. Once again, let me just say, not interested. It's not my thing, but it's really popular, and it is objectively a good mod. It's pretty much a total conversion mod, man. It changes the whole world to like this fantasy realm, and you got all of these different races, elves, you know, dwarfs and stuff like that. It's awesome, man. If fantasy is your thing, and if you're kind of bored of regular EU4, definitely check out Anbenar. But yeah, that's what it refers to. Probably one of the most popular mods for EU4, top 5 for sure. Then after that, we got Big Blue Blob. Big Blue Blob refers to an achievement you can get as France right here, which requires you to own, if we tag into France right here, I think, let me see, they start off with 20 provinces. It requires you to own 100 provinces in Europe before the year 1500. Yeah, pretty tough achievement. It used to be more, actually now maybe it's a little more difficult. Yeah, it used to be easier when France didn't have all of these vassals right here, but you know, the strategy is pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. You just Royal Mary Burgundy, hope for the Burgundian succession, and then just expand over in the British Isles, and if you have to, jump into like Norway and Novgorod up here. It's really not that difficult, but it's definitely one of the more, I would say, popular intermediate achievements that once you've done it, you know you're pretty good at EU4 once you can do it. After that, we have Skanderbeg. Skanderbeg, of course, refers to, if we tag into Albania right here, the strongest, most powerful ruler in terms of, you know, mana at the start of the game in EU4. We got Georgios Skanderbeg Kastrioti right here, the ruler of Albania at the start, who's a 6/5/6, the most powerful ruler at the start of the game in EU4, and the only better, you know, ruler that you can get than this is a 6/6/6, and he's even got some really good traits. So yeah, man, Albania, pretty fun nation to play. Skanderbeg definitely does help out a lot. And yeah, if you haven't played Albania, do it because you'll have a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what Skanderbeg refers to. Then over here we have a sort of an EU4 conspiracy theory that, you know, can never really be proven, but everyone knows is true, and that's the fact that the AI targets the player, even though, you know, Paradox and the EU4 guys repeatedly say, no, it's not true, the AI never goes for the player. But listen, boys, over my years of playing EU4, especially on this channel right here, whenever you play the most obscure nation, and I have the most egregious example of this, man, I was playing one of these guys down here in Australia, right? And the gameplay with them aside, you guys know how the colonizers colonize, right? Castile, Portugal, France, England. They go to, you know, South America, then they move up north, they go around here to Africa, they jump up some islands over here, they get to Southeast Asia, and then they get to Australia, pretty much the last, you know, colonial region that they start colonizing. No. In this game, where I played as one of these guys down here, Castile completely ignored everything else that they normally colonize and just beelined it straight for me down in Australia. You can't tell me that the AI doesn't target the player, man. I'm a vocal proponent of this conspiracy theory right here. Put on your tinfoil hats, ladies and gentlemen, because the AI does almost always target the player. They'll go out of their way to get close to you and mess up your game. Next, we have England ally not helping. This is another, not really a conspiracy theory, but it refers to the fact that whenever you ally England, or Great Britain later on, they're an absolutely horrible AI ally, and they never help you out in your wars. Now, in my experience, depending on where you play, they do come and help out. For example, England is actually a pretty good ally to have as like Sweden, for example, because you'll need their navy to help you beat Denmark. Maybe if you're playing like someone in the HRE, they do come and help you out, and maybe some conquests in North Germany and France right here. So, you know, I would say if you're in this region right here, the England AI will come and help out. But if it's really a hit or miss. For me personally, whenever I ally England, they are helpful about 70% of the time, but it is pretty common as well to have them not help. This basically refers to the fact that England, not a very good ally. Next up, we have Alt F4, a pretty simple explanation, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, if you play in Iron Man mode in EU4, you can't just, you know, hit escape and load a previous save, because you can't, like, you know, load saves at your whim when you're playing in Iron Man. So whenever something bad happens, your 666 air dies, or you lose a war, or I don't know, something doesn't go your way, you can just Alt F4 and reload to the previous save like that. It's as simple as that. It's birding, save scumming, it has many different names. I just call it Alt F4ing. Then we have everyone rivals Denmark. So we got a little conspiracy theory line right here in the middle. And I gotta say, this is pretty true. And it refers to the fact that Denmark, for example, never has a shortage of rivals, right? And everyone, you can get like 5 different rivals as Denmark, you know, or enemies, people that hate you pretty much, whether it's the AI or you. But I have an even better one. Burgundy and Savoy actually tend to get more rivals than Denmark. So it's pretty much the fact that anyone can rival these guys, or everyone hates them and stuff like that, whether you play as them or it's the AI. But yeah, this one right here, everyone rivals Denmark. I'd actually swap it with Burgundy or Savoy, but Denmark's in that group too. Then over here we have everyone gets institutions. Now, if you don't know, man, various institutions spawn throughout the time of playing EU4. Almost everyone starts with feudalism. A couple of years after the game starts, you get Renaissance, then colonialism, printing press, global trade, manufactories, enlightenment, industrialization, and stuff like that. And this refers to the fact that, you know, institutions are supposed to represent nations that don't have them being technologically behind. For example, all of these guys that don't got feudalism right here, for them it's very expensive to tech up, to get different techs, but it's not a very good system. And even though a lot of these guys lag behind during Renaissance, let's say colonialism, even printing press and stuff like that, by the time you get to the 1550s to 1600, it's just everyone gets every institution and no one has any tech penalties. And, you know, you end up fighting, let's say, a Congo that's consolidated all of this, but they're as technologically advanced as nations in Europe or in Asia, which I guess is not that accurate, you know? So, it is what it is, though. The previous system, westernization, was even worse, so let's not get into that. Then we have endgame tags right here, something obviously, since we're in these top parts of the iceberg, everyone should also be familiar with, but it's pretty much endgame tags. Those are nations that you can't form other nations with. Obviously, in EU4, you can form different countries. Castile or Aragon or any of these guys can form Spain. England forms Great Britain. You know, Poland can form the Commonwealth, Muscovy, Russia, and stuff like that. But there are endgame tags which can't form other nations no matter what, like the Ottomans, for example, or France. Obviously, though, there are exceptions to endgame tags. For example, where everyone that meets the requirements can form the Roman Empire or something like that. So yeah, endgame tags are nations that can't form other nations. And then we have the last one in the second tier right here. Sweden is overpowered. Now, obviously, there are various memes about this in EU4 as well, about the fact that Sweden right here is overpowered, which, you know, stems from the fact that Paradox is from Sweden. And Sweden did historically have its, you know, peak during EU4's time frame. The joke is that Sweden is not overpowered, but it actually is overpowered. But you know, in the recent couple of patches, a lot of other more powerful countries have emerged, but it's just from the fact that they have amazing militarily focused national ideas right here, an absolutely awesome mission tree, you know, various, they can have like 4 or 5 policies too. They can form Scandinavia, which is sort of like an upgraded Sweden. Yeah, Sweden definitely is overpowered, and that's what the fact refers to. You know, in the hands of the player at least. AI Sweden, they always suck. Now, getting into the third level of the iceberg right here, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it off with no CB Biz. What is no CB Biz? Well, it just refers to the fact that the very popular strategy that almost everyone uses in certain games, I'm not too much of a fan of it, is no matter who you're playing, if you're around here, you no CB Byzantium, declare war on Byzantium with no casus belli, and you just eat them up, or get them as a vassal, or eat them and release them as a vassal, primarily in order to cripple the Ottomans super early on, because a lot of their power and their entire mission tree starts from them conquering Constantinople. I like to do this strategy as Aragon because it's pretty close by, and you know, as Aragon, you're in a really good position to form the Roman Empire. So no CBing Biz for me is a very valid strategy as Aragon and as the Mamluks. Two pretty strong nations that will butt heads with the Ottomans eventually, and I do like doing it with them. Some people do it as Denmark, as England, man, as you know, Castile, Muscovy, whatever. I don't like doing it with anyone. You can do it with anyone. Aragon and Mamluks are my recommendations. Then we have a John Paradox, of course. Okay, so John Paradox, you know, not to uncover the meme too much, you know, when someone explains memes, they no longer become funny, but all I'm gonna say is everyone knows that this is John Paradox. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. The guy on the EU4 cover art is John Paradox. No, it's not John Universalis or something like that. It's John Paradox. That's John Paradox. That's all I have to say about that. After that, it's playing past 1600, which refers to the fact that, like I mentioned at the start of the video, EU4 runs from 1444 to 1821, but pretty much no one plays past 1600. All right, once you become big enough and you've done all of your goals or whatever, and there's no longer a challenge, you can just roll over everyone. It's pretty much by 1600, you're done with that. Why play any further? So that's why maybe you should set some late game goals. I personally enjoy playing past 1600 quite a lot. You guys should do it more too. After that, it's a 1,444 hour tutorial, and it just refers to the fact that EU4 starts in 1444. Once you have 1444 hours in EU4, you've pretty much beaten the tutorial. And it's the same thing under it right here, actually. 1821 hour tutorial. EU4 ends in 1821. If you have 1821 hours, you've beaten the tutorial. It's just jokes, you know. People like to post it on Reddit. I like this joke. I like this EU4 joke, yeah. Then over here we have zone of control works. Okay, so one of the most controversial things that, you know, a lot of less experienced players in EU4 will mention is they don't know how the zone of control mechanics work. And zone of control, it's pretty much, let me tag in, for example, as the Ottomans right here and go into this map mode. Now, we have a fort in Salonik. And all of these, you know, striped provinces around Salonik is where this fort is projecting control to. For example, if an enemy sieges this province and walks away and you still have this fort, it'll get unsieged, right? And you're not supposed to be able to walk past certain forts, right? For example, an enemy is coming in from this side and they walk over Gallipoli. They aren't supposed to be able to do that. A lot of people think that the AI ignores fort zone of control, or that zone of control is broken, and that's why the AI doesn't seem to respect the same rules that your armies have to abide by. This is not true. The zone of control does work. The AI does not cheat with the zone of control. If a weird situation happens to you where you think the AI is ignoring the fort or something like that, or that zone of control doesn't work, it just means that you aren't understanding how it works, or there are certain things happening in your game which enables the AI to, for some reason, ignore your fort. But zone of control does work, so it's not like this. It does actually work. Then after that, we have other start dates. I feel like this shouldn't be this obscure. I feel like other start dates should be maybe in a higher tier. But yes, EU4, even though, like I mentioned many times, the original starting date is 1444, there are various other bookmarks that you can start on that Paradox thinks are, for example, interesting start dates. You know, the 30 Years' War, the 7 Years' War, the Netherlands War of Independence, the 1776 US War of Independence. There are various other, about a dozen or so other start dates that you can choose, but also, let me clue you in, because you have the start date thing you read at the start of the game, you can start on literally any day between November 11th, 1444 and January 3rd, 1821. Yes, the map is mostly accurate, it's just other things don't work as well, but yeah, that's other start dates for you. Or over here we have Austria requesting a relative as heir. Obviously, as we all know, you know, if we tag into and look Hab, the tag for Austria is Hab because they are the Habsburgs. It basically refers to the fact that Austria keeps asking you whenever you play someone and you're roll married with them or whatever and you don't have an heir, they ask you, hey Hungary, or hey Lithuania, or hey Castile, you don't have an heir. Why not put a Habsburg on your throne? They love doing it. Other nations do it as well. Austria loves doing it the most because of their, you know, unique marriage diplomacy type playthrough. Then over here you have loading screen leaders. I call them loading screen rulers, and it's pretty much, you know, the guys on the EU4 loading screens, and there are a couple of them right here. For example, this guy. He's a loading screen ruler. This is, I think, Frederick the Great from Prussia. We got this guy down here who I think is from Majapahit. And then, of course, we have this guy over here who is actually, I think, the only guy, or maybe one of the only 2 or 3, who's not an actual guy from history, but just like an abstraction of a person. I think there's a famous painting of this guy too. He's just a Cossack. You know, the Cossacks from the steppes, from right here, the Cossacks. So yeah, those are the loading screen rulers. After that, we have the Prussian Space Marines, which of course refers to the fact that Prussia, a nation that you can form with, well, various nations in northern Germany, but mainly Brandenburg and the Teutonic Order is who you'd go with. It refers to the fact that they have absolutely insane national ideas, missions, government reforms and stuff like that, which enable you to have some of the most powerful militaries in the game as them with insane combat abilities, morale, discipline, and stuff like that. So, you know, and as Prussia too, you're pretty much not blobbing out all that much. It's pretty much you're a small nation with a very powerful military. Your 40k army can easily crush 100k army from the Ottomans or from Russia. It's focusing on quality with Prussia pretty much. Then over here we have the eyes are not here. Now this one is, I don't know if there's too much to explain about this one, and I do know this one. It is an event that you get when you colonize. But what was the thing with it? Yeah, let me see this one. Actually, I know about this, but what about it makes it be on the iceberg? All right, this is the eyes are not here event, and it's pretty much, you know, if you read the text in the events, I know no one does, it refers to some 1940s poetry. That's what it is. I know this event, so that's why I wanted to look it up. But yeah, it's just what the reference is with the text right here, that there are no eyes here. In this empty valley, voices die faster than the nightfall. Yeah. After that, of course, we have migrating to the new world. This is a strategy that you can do as pretty much any nation. You know, some people like doing it with Byzantium, with some Irish miners or whatnot. It's pretty much just moving your capital to the new world and sort of becoming a new world nation if you don't want to bother with the Europeans. Additionally, if you're a new world nation, if your capital is in the new world, you can fight colonial nations without getting their overlords involved. For example, Castile or Spain establishes Mexico right here. If you're playing as Portugal and you want to fight Mexico, well, you're fighting Castile and all of their allies too. However, if you're playing someone like Ulster, for example, and you moved your capital to the New World, you can fight Mexico or New Spain without fighting Spain itself. So that's a strategy. It's interesting. Third Odyssey is a really good mod about this, where Byzantium pretty much escapes to the New World or whatnot to avoid dying to the Ottomans. But yeah, that's pretty much migrating to the New World. And the final one in this third tier right here, ladies and gentlemen, is insult text. A lot of people, you know, you always send insults and stuff like that, but people actually don't know the text in these insults. So I'll show it off while we're Austria right here. Let's go ahead and send a scornful insult to the Ottomans. And here's the text. Judgment Day is upon us. The minions of Lucifer walk upon the earth. Oh no, it's merely the Ottomans. They're actually pretty good. You can roll them over here and change them. There are some really, really funny ones. Furthermore, I believe that Edirne must be destroyed, the Turkish capital. Oh, look, there's some lovely filth over there. So that's the insult text. And there are some unique ones that you can send to certain nations. Yeah, pretty much all of them are pretty funny. That's the insult text. All right, now let's get into the nitty gritty, pretty much the middle of the bottom of the iceberg, or the middle of the entire iceberg. But as we can see, there is so much more in the depths below. Now, going into over here, first we have a Leviathan on release, of course, and this refers to Leviathan, an EU4 DLC, which dropped, when did it drop? Probably 2021, actually right around the time I started making videos. And listen, the DLC and that same patch on release was, let's just say, not very good for most people. Now, the DLC itself focused on Southeast Asia, and actually the content and the mechanics that it brought was really nice, but it was just, man, the patch itself was so absolutely buggy, and there were so many problems, and things were not working, and exploits and stuff like that. So all around, a pretty bad release. That was the first release of Paradox Tinto, of course, the new EU4 only studio that Paradox made, and it was the first one, so it's understandable that things like that would happen. The DLC, don't get me wrong, the DLC itself is great. However, because people were so mad at all the problems that the patch that released along with the DLC brought, even for people who didn't have the DLC, that did become the worst reviewed. I keep getting weather, man. Please, someone tell the weather to chill. It's so hot in DC right now. But the thing is, at release it was just not very good. It led to Leviathan being the worst reviewed product on Steam. Of course, now all of those issues have been fixed, and Leviathan is a great DLC that I obviously recommend, but it's just something that happened at the start. After that, we have The Best Friend. Now, I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the best friend refers to in this iceberg. Could it be something like I've actually rivaled myself as Saxony, I think it was. Could you somehow maybe ally yourself? Is that what this refers to? I have no idea, but this is the first one I actually don't know, boys. If you guys know what the best friend refers to right here, let me know in the comments, obviously without you searching for it. If you just know, comment. If you don't know, you know, you can search it up, but don't comment, don't spoil it. And yeah, while we're here, man, leave a like if you haven't already, if you enjoy this type of content, and subscribe for more. Hell yeah. Let's move on. Next, we have lost cultures. If you guys don't know, man, there are, obviously, I mean, everyone knows this, there are various cultures and culture groups all around EU4. However, there are cultures that don't exist or don't exist yet. For example, you can get like Anglois if you do the Angevin Empire. You can get like, obviously some New World cultures like Brazilian or whatever, but those aren't lost cultures. Actually, Anglois might be a lost culture, but the best example is, man, for example, when you form the Roman Empire, let's say as, I don't know, Castile, all of your primary culture provinces will flip to Roman. So Roman is a lost culture that you can technically revive by forming the Roman Empire and stuff like that. Although I don't know if Anglois is one, or is there Norse culture? I guess those are as well, but yeah, Roman is the best example. Next, we have pulse events. Not really too much to explain right here, unless I don't know what it's specifically referring to. So, as we all know, man, we get events in EU4, like at the comet one I just showed off at the start of the video, but there are certain events which appear, you know, like rolling events that appear after a certain time, and then they happen again and again and stuff like that. There are, like, for example, you go colonizing. There are colonization-related pulse events, right? I guess you could say if you give out, what was it, man? The supremacy of the crown, for example, estates can pursue agendas at any time. Those are like pulse events, I guess, for the estates and stuff like that. So yeah, they're not random events, pretty much. They're regular interval events. I hope I'm explaining that correctly, and I hope that is what that refers to. Next, after that, we have a westernization. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it was pretty much the mechanic to keep, you know, less technologically advanced nations, for example, in North America, South America, certain parts of Africa, Australia, and whatnot, behind on technology compared to, you know, Europe and the rest of the world. Obviously, institutions and stuff replaced that, but before, when you had westernization, it's pretty much like some, New World religions have, where you need to reform off of a colonial nation that comes in, you know, for example, as the Aztec guys, or the Nahuatl, I mean, and the Inti guys. You basically learn about that technology when you come in contact with it. So that was how it worked. It was horrible. As not good as the institution mechanic is, westernization was worse. Then after that, we have InnoBad, which refers to the fact that a lot of people do not like innovative ideas. Now, I'm not one of those guys. I actually quite like innovative ideas. They give you minus 20% advisor discount when you finish them, prestige decay, innovativeness gain, tech discount, institution embracement discount, and advisor, institution spread, war exhaustion splendor, and a free policy. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't find yourself in situations where you need to use these too much. However, in a playing tall playthrough, man, especially as someone like Florence or Holland, the Netherlands, maybe even Naples or Milan, someone like that, Korea especially, nations that have already missions and ideas and government reforms which focus on like developing and getting more mana and cheaper advisors and whatnot, and getting tech ahead of time, cheap ideas. Innovative are really good for playing tall, and in fact, I think they're a must for playing tall. Aside from that, in a regular game, you probably wouldn't use them, although I still wouldn't call them bad, even though a lot of people do. After that, we have the Grandest LAN in here for some reason. Why? Okay, so the Grandest LAN is like this event that, well, I guess Paradox organizes every year. Basically, a bunch of people, and anyone can do this, by the way. Anyone can buy tickets for it. It's teamed. You get together in some sort of castle in Poland, and there's pretty much a LAN party EU4 multiplayer that goes on over the weekend, and it's pretty fun. It was or is streamed live on Twitch. I was actually supposed to host that along with Lath about a year or two ago, but you know, that didn't happen. So yeah, that's what the grandest land is. Yeah. After that, we have spawning Norse. How can you spawn Norse? Oh, okay. I thought you spawn as Norse. No, this refers to the fact that, yes, the Norse religion, ladies and gentlemen, you can get it. You can revive it as any of these guys right here. Now, the requirements are actually really hard to get if you don't save scum it or whatnot. But basically, you gotta own certain provinces over here. Then you gotta have either a ruler with really good stats or some other things, and basically it's a whole thing in order for you to spawn Norse via that event chain. The other way, though, is to somehow get animist zealots over in Scandinavia so they can do some shenanigans like that. But yes, it is possible to create or revive the Norse faith as some of these guys right here. It's probably easiest as Norway or Sweden. I think you need, I don't know, you need some of these provinces right here and those ruler things, like I said. I actually tried to get it in my Sweden Grand campaign, but nothing happened. And the thing is, you only have up until like 1500 to do it too, so oh yeah, it's really hard. After that, we have a Songs of Yuletide. Why is this here? Okay, so everyone knows EU4 has a soundtrack. There are 2 Christmas songs in it that play around Christmas. That's the Songs of Yuletide. After that, we have victory cards. It's such an obscure mechanic that no one uses. If you play EU4 multiplayer, you can enable like victory cards, which if you guys have played Risk with the missions and stuff like that, it's like stuff you gotta do to win. You don't like insta-win in EU4, it's not like that, but they bring you points if you conquer certain areas or provinces or whatnot, but no one plays with victory cards, come on. Then over here we have a Farce Color, and this of course is about you know, Fars, man. This nation right here, obviously it starts off as a vassal of the Timurids. These guys had a different color every single patch or DLC for the last 10 DLCs, and everyone memed about it. And then finally, there's an event. When you play as the Timurids, you get an event, and you basically choose a ruler for Fars, and depending on what ruler you choose or whatever it was, Fars can get a different color. They got about 5 or 6 different colors, and that's why in pretty much any game you start and you can see these guys, they'll be a different color. But yeah, that's how the meme started. They were, for some reason, a different color every update. I miss yellow Farce, though. And then finally, at the bottom right here, we have Paradox Math. I gotta say, boys, this is actually another one that I really don't know what it could specifically refer to. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this one to you guys. And by the way, if we do a part 2 of this video, because it is getting really long, if we do a part 2, let me know if you want me to keep it like this, where you guys can explain what I don't know, or if you want me to go and research what I actually don't know and tell all of you guys. I think it's pretty fun like this to test my knowledge as well. But yeah, leave a comment if you know what this specifically Paradox Math refers to, because for me it can be a lot of things, but maybe there's some obscure thing that I really don't know about. So yeah, there's actually a second one along with the best friend that I don't know what they refer to in our 4th level of the iceberg. And with that, it's time to move on to the 5th one. We're nearing the bottom of the iceberg. Alright, so the first one right here, I guess let's go for the highest one, event tags right here. And this just refers to the fact that, you know, I don't know how many times I've said refers to the fact of this video, but I have said it lots of times. It's pretty much about, you know, every single event in the game has a unique ID or tag tied to it, which pretty much makes you able to fire them right from the console if you're not playing an Iron Man, right? You want, I don't know, an event for a 666 air or something like that. You go on the wiki, find it, and you just type event, I don't know, let's type a random number here. Let's see what happens if I type event 1000. There we go. There's no event with 1000, maybe like 50. There we go. So I don't know. It's pretty much like that. So yeah, that's what it refers to. Then after that, we have random New World Easter egg nations and islands. So yeah, I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I played with the random New World, which is a mechanic that you can do in EU4. It's pretty much replacing North and South America with a random piece of land right here to really get the feel of actually exploring, which is actually quite nice. But there's also like Easter egg nations that can spawn right there. For example, in my video, I got Secret Denmark over there, but there's various other nations you can actually turn up or down to like the fantasy or whatever setting it is. And there's also like Easter egg, you know, predetermined land masses. I think there's like Giant Falklands or something. I think you can get Antarctica as well. You can get that like line world from whatever anime that is. So yeah, that is what this piece of the iceberg is talking about right here. A random new world. There's Easter egg nations and Easter egg land masses. Then over here we got, man, I can't believe this. We got Colonial Guyana, bro. Oh my god. That was, how long ago was that? Or unless I'm making this up. I don't think I'm making it up. So if you go into the colonial and trade regions map mode, over in the old world, it'll open up like the trade nodes, but in the new world, it shows you the colonial regions, right? So we got Cascadia, which I think also used to be named Alaska, Canada, Louisiana, Eastern America, Mexico, California, the Caribbean, Colombia, Peru, La Plata, and Brazil. But also, shoot, man, this has got to be 10 years ago, even more. There used to be Colonial Guyana here. Unless I'm tripping. Unless I'm making this up. I don't think I'm making it up. I think there really used to be Colonial Guyana. Yeah, it has to be about that, man, because why else would it be in there? Yeah, that's what that's about. It's gotta be. After that, we got old missions. Okay, so this is an interesting one to explain, and I fondly remember playing the game when the old missions were, you know, in it. So right now, man, EU4, you can't imagine without its mission trees and stuff like that, right? It's a core part of the game. I love it. But missions used to be this. It used to be like the decisions and stuff like that, right? It was, I think, probably in the same tab right here, dude. And it was like, you start up pretty much any nation and you had like 3 of these right here. And it was like, I don't know, you're playing as the Ottomans and you had like, I don't know, conquer Constantinople or something like that. But they were all like kind of like generic, right? Or hire an advisor or you know, kind of like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to compare it with. Maybe Imperator-ish, but no, not really. It was pretty much just this. It told you what to do here, and then you click it, and you've taken the mission. Good job. But yeah, that's what the old missions were. After that, we have 1.0 map. And this is really just about the EU4 map and the release version. And I gotta say, folks, it was... Man, I didn't play on release. I started playing EU4, what was it? A year or 2 after it launched, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, the map was obviously, man, as everyone can imagine, and you can look up images of 1.0 right now. I don't know if you can go that far back. You can roll back to 1.4 in Steam, I think, and it's pretty similar, man, but you know, so many nations are gone. Provinces are way bigger. Another thing is every single province had a fort. That was pretty lame, but yeah, it's just about the 1.0 map, man. It's just about the 1.0 map. Let me see if I can find a picture of it so I can show you guys. Yeah, so I found this picture on Reddit right here, man. And this is what the 1.0 map used to look like, or 1.1 or something like that. Portugal is still green. So you can't really tell on this level of zoomed out, but obviously, man, so many more nations in the HRE, right? And if you can sort of kind of make out the provinces, they're really not like they are today. I mean, yeah, it's just, damn, man. Even the shape of like the coastline is different. Look. 4 nations in Ireland, man. Now we got like 12 and stuff like that. So yeah, these are all like one province too, by the way. After that, let's see, old missions 1.0 map. We got genocide mechanics. So it's not really a meme, but it's, I guess, a point of discussion in EU4. Like, for example, you know, you can convert culture, right, of provinces, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is like genocide and stuff like that. And I've talked about this in my videos and whatnot, but I don't think a culture conversion is really, none of them really are, you know, genocide or whatnot. Culture conversion is like slowly, you know, making the population be more whatever it is over many years. That's why this takes so long. However, if you are colonizing, man, let's see, let me grab an army. Is that button here at all? Yeah, so you got, yeah, this right here, attack natives. So, for example, you can take your army to an uncolonized province, such as this right here, or that right there, or this right there, it doesn't matter. And you can click that attack natives button. And as you can see, a lot of these New World provinces, man, or uncolonized provinces, they have natives living in them. Basically not in an organized fashion, such as some of these other guys, or the Old World guys, right? And you can basically kill them all. That's what it is. You can basically kill all of these guys so they don't rise up, they don't destroy your colony, and you can colonize faster. So those are the 2 which people say are like genocide mechanics. I kind of agree that attack natives might be considered it, but culture conversion, I don't think so. So yeah, that's what that is. Then over after that, we have, I guess, Sabaton. Yeah, Sabaton, man, great band, you know, that makes like, I don't know what kind of music it is. I guess you could say it's like heavy metal or whatever, or I don't know. They make like historical songs. If you guys don't know about Sabaton by now, I mean, you should. They are part of the EU4 soundtrack as well, or, you know, maybe you can get it separately or whatnot. I haven't heard those songs in years, especially because I play with the soundtrack off, because the way I edit my video, you'll just hear cuts and stuff like that. But also, those songs are copyrighted, so I can't even play them in videos or on stream or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's what it's about, man. Sabaton, they make, like, you know, historical music or whatnot. After that, it's, I guess, base tax. Okay, so this one is pretty easy to explain. By now, you guys know that there is development in EU4. You know, you can, like, develop the province and stuff like that. But this wasn't in the game at the start, man. At the start, there used to only be tax. I guess, you know, base tax still exists. You know, for example, you know, Vienna here has 6 base tax. Or 6 tax, like we say now. But yeah, it used to be just tax, and it was pretty much, yeah, that was the thing before development, just tax. Then we have Square Memel, and this is about the province of Memel, which is right here, and how it used to be square. It literally used to be a square like this. Pretty similar to the 1.0 map we just talked about, but yeah, back in the old days, it was, yeah, it wasn't like this, it was a square, and it's still a meme to this day, because why was it square? Then we have, let's see, where are we? Let's go to AI cheats. Okay, so this is, I guess, about the fact that the AI, going back once again to the zone of control thing about how people think the AI cheats, but I guess you could say that the AI cheats if you play with, like, Lucky Nations on. I guess Lucky Nations, by the way, is about how, you know, certain countries which historically need to perform well. If you play with Lucky Nations on, I think it, like, buffs them and stuff like that to make them actually perform well with various bonuses. So you could say that that is cheating, or maybe about how the AI doesn't have fog of war, I don't think, or something like that. Yeah, there are various ways in which the AI cheats, but it's all on purpose, I think. Okay, after that we have football religion. Okay, so this is about an event you get. I don't know which nations can get it, or I guess, well, football was invented right here, right? But it's like an event where, like, you're far off and you get a letter or something like that talking about how they invented football, and, you know, the event pretty much says, could this be a new religion or something like that? So yeah, it's about the invention of football or soccer, depending on where you're from. But there's an event for it. Then we have Perm rulers. What could be said about Perm rulers? Perm is a vassal of Muscovy. I know they got a really good ruler right at the start. 645. Could it be about that? But I think a lot of people would know that Perm has a pretty good ruler at the start. All right, the air is really good too. Yeah, 645, 655. The only negative thing about this is that this guy, the ruler, is 21, but the heir is 24. They're probably like cousins or something, you know. This would be insane if this guy was like maybe 30 and this guy was like 10 or something like that. So you can actually play as both of them, but, you know, chances are they'll die around the same time. But yeah, Perm has an insane ruler and heir at the start. I think that's what this is about. And then we get to the, I guess, second to last one from this tier. It's Florrynomics. Of course, this term stems from Florryworry, probably the best EU4 player that creates content for EU4. There might be some guys that don't make content that are better, but who knows? And Florrynomics is pretty much, man, using the economy or the mechanics of the economy to the max extent. For example, as the let's actually go with someone smaller. For example, we'll tag into one province minor. Let's go into Frankfurt. Frankfurt, for example, they got 9 ducat loans at the start, right? What can you do with 9 ducats? You take out 1 trillion loans, you go so much into debt, blah, 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 blah. Then you go and expand a little bit. You conquer 4 or 5 provinces, or even 1 or 2. Suddenly, your loans are 20 ducats. So you get new 20 ducat loans to pay off your old 9 ducat loans, and it's pretty much all about keeping the number of loans down, right? Then you expand even more. You get 40 ducat loans. With 40 ducat loans, you pay off the 20 ducat ones. And it's pretty much about using the loan system to the max extent. A lot of new players are afraid to play with loans. Do not be afraid. Loans are your friend. You can see how many you can take out. 117, for example, is Frankfurt right here. So do not be afraid. As we can see, I've taken out 51 loans and I'm still making money. It's not even that hard to pay off. You know, if we, let's do integrate Mainz right here, for example, and I don't know, who's this? Würzburg. And if we let like a month take over, you know, these are technically our core provinces now since I integrated them. We can see that, well, I've gone bankrupt, but obviously when you don't go bankrupt. Now we got 26 ducat loans, right? So with these 26 ducat ones, we'd pay off the 9 ducat ones. That's pretty much Florrynomics, just outgrowing your loans. And then we have the final one in this tier of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, a random setup. And this, of course, is all about how when you start the game, you can actually go into the settings and delete all of these nations that exist historically in the world at the start, and you can do a random setup where random nations will populate the map, owning random provinces with random development in those provinces. So it pretty much is just like changes everything. You know, that's actually a good idea, man. I should probably make a video about with the random setup. In fact, think I'll do it for the 4th video next week, so be on the lookout for that. But there we go. That was the final one from this part of the iceberg explained, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we have gone through half of the iceberg, the top half, and we still got into some pretty obscure things. So I'm excited to see what awaits us all the way at the bottom, or even just a few tiers down. However, we will have to leave that for next time because I do think this video is long enough. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed us going through this EU4 iceberg right here. Let me know about the stuff I didn't know about, like the best friend and paradox math, over in the comments if you know. And of course, let me know if you do want to see me continue this iceberg right here and explain the really obscure things such as ganja ID, or unused tags, or the Kyoto engine. I guess we'll have to see. But that's it for me for now. See you next time.